Giovanni from Liquidalembic, the creative drinks agency that specializes in design, development and marketing of quality drinks education and beverage experiences. Liquidalembic and ICCA Dubai together brings to you CocktailZero, the art of alcohol-free design drinks. Our certificate programs in dry mixology and bartending showmanship are designed not only for inspiring bar professionals working in the industry, but also for the serious enthusiasts interested in learning the art of mixology. Come, introduce yourself to the fascinating and soul-stirring world of alcohol-free designer drinks.
Good afternoon from Dubai. Welcome back to ICCA Live, World-Class Culinary Online. Today, we have yet another interesting session in the series of dry mixology and bartending, food pairing, making flavors come alive. I would now like to hand over to our host, Shanaz Raja, Director of Courses at the ICCA Dubai. Over to you, Shanaz.
Thank you, Karun. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our fifth exciting webinar in the series, Dry Mixology and Bartending. Just a recap on what we've completed in our previous webinars. We started with tools of the trade, then went on to methods and techniques, then choosing the right glassware, and then into the categories of cocktails, rather mocktails in this case. Last week, we did aperitifs, and this week it's about choosing the right flavors to complement food. The other webinars are available for you to view on YouTube. And for those of you who are with us for the first time, a very, very short intro on Mr. G, on Master Mixologist Giovanni Depergola, fondly known as Mr. G by all of us. Mr. G has over 20 years of experience in the beverage industry in Europe and MENA region, and he is also the co-founder of Liquidalembic, a creative drinks agency which specializes in training and education. During this session with Mr. G, he will have a few questions for you which will pop up as polls. And if you have a few questions for us, do put it up into the chat and I will take it up with Mr. G for you. Without taking more of your time, over to you, Mr. G.
Excellent, Shanaz. Thank you very much. As usual, what a great introduction. Thank you, Karun, to open the session. And really, thank you very much for all the joiners today. Because it's another great episode. I mean, really, really interesting today because we talk about food pairing, you know, something that is so cliche if we look in so many aspects, but it's so important really to have a good drinks with an excellent food. You know, that's always the case. So as Chana has mentioned, we saw at the very early our episode dedicated completely to the fundamentals of the bars, because what we do here at our course is really we go through the details, the ABC, the fundamentals of understanding how to use the correct glassware, how to use the right method and technique, the right tools to use when we actually going to make a cocktail, because these really implement and really can affect the final flavors of our wonderful CocktailZero. So dry mixology is all about discovering the beauty of all those elements that really comes together. And it's our pleasure because here in ICCA, we have such a great venue where we really immerse ourselves in a really, what we believe to be one of the best environment to really come and train yourself. So today, I think is a great combination because we will talk about the drinks and the food. So ICCA is actually, it stands for the International Culinary Center of Arts. So there's a lot of young chefs that come in to study here. And for us, talk about dry mixologies. When I come here for the first time, we really see all these came together. And today we have actually the opportunity to see when you can have like a good cocktails together along with your favorite food. So really that is something that very unique. Now, before we actually going to make it something, you see, I've got a beautiful basil here, then I've got a few hidden ingredients behind me. So what is important to understand? What about food pairing? We know that when we go to a restaurant or to our favorite bars, we really go with this classic, you have your meat with your red wine, you have your fish with your white wine, and you have, your oyster with some champagne. Well, those are the rules that many people tell us to believe. But it's not really like this. It's very personal at the end of the day. We all know that, of course, there are certain dishes that really take advantage of the style of the drinks that we're going to design, because this is very important. Now, yes, there is rules, but at the same time, it's very personal. So we need to think that our tasting buds are really personal and really can really vary and change between people to person. I give an example. Me as a person coming from south of Italy, we're very into classic Mediterranean flavors. So I'm talking about fresh lemons. I'm talking about fresh herbs. So this is the way we really pretty much we grow up on our tasting buds. Natural salty from the sea. So it's really this is what we're looking for. Loving living here in Dubai, I discovered the beauty of the essence of spices. Such a great really environment to dip yourself. To discover usage of spices, and now can really they enhance flavors. So from a classic chili point of view, but also to some of the barks like cinnamon, star anise that is used in Indian cuisine, for instance, but also a lot of the Asian, they are using the lemongrass, the kaffir lime leaves. We saw this last time when we decorated our cocktail with some nice kaffir lime leaves. So this is extremely important. What we really need to know that the drinks really makes a big difference when we are sitting for a great meal. Imagine that you use the drink to actually to do a palate cleanser, between dishes, so we have our main course and then we really cut with something to prepare. Or we saw last time an aperitif, something that prepare ourselves to go through. So really to prepare for a beautiful meal. So this is how important are the flavor into the cocktail. So really, really important. So in terms of really understanding the ABC is what we need. That we know that citrus, lemon, and orange, that really they cut into the fattiness of a certain fishes, for instance. So a classic salmon will rework with a beautiful slice of lemon, and of course in a nice lemonade and citrus. So this all works. Or maybe you have your favorite pasta, but this is another thing. When people talk to me as an Italian, they say, oh, I love pasta. Pasta for us is a world. We have so many different variations and also so many different condiments that you can put together. So that's really, really is how we're going to look that together. So always the details is what we need to look. And when I'm saying the details is understanding the sweetness to balance, salt and sweetness. Love it. Many people go mad for that salty caramel if you're looking to the dessert, salt and sweetness. So really, really interesting, but also the bitterness element. And this is something also, if you look that, in a no-alcoholic world, we don't really have the tannin, if you imagine, that we have in red wine, where we have to really pair that in our cocktail or with our steak, if you talk about meat. So what's happening there, that you really have something related to the tannin. So imagine that something which is very dry, a tannin in how do we really perceive is when our gum goes really dry. So that's really come from a beautiful pomegranate, for instance, a cranberry, a very dry style of a berry can really implement, or a cool beetroot, So we at the school here, the guys, they have so much to explore when we do this kind of tasting, because they can actually implement, and you will see. And well, today actually I'm going to make a couple recipes and with the food pairing. So we have a beautiful recipes to showcase to you, not the food, only the drinks. The food, the chefs here in ICCA, they helped me already. They have the food, which is ongoing, and it will be past me. Meanwhile, we are going to do live session today. So Shanaz, before we actually more moving into the session, and I will do my wonderful demo cocktail here. Shall we? I think we prepare a couple polls, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Okay. So the first question is from Giovanni to everyone: which CocktailZero style would you recommend with seafood cooked in Mediterranean flavors?
Okay,
a wide variety of answers coming in.
Okay, I like that. I had to specify that Mediterranean thing because, fish and it can be cooked in a different way, depending where you're coming from. And I will see. Actually, I will have a look through all the answers that are coming through. Shanaz, are people answering?
Yes, and there are 65% who say it's citrus-based, 21% say it's carbonated and herbal, and 13% say still and fruity.
Okay, sorry, can you tell me again the percentage between the second and the third?
The carbonated is 20% and the still and fruity is about 15%.
50%. Okay, so majority of people, well done. Thank you very much. Yes, we will look into some citrus. That's what we want. However, I would like to, just to go back when we discussed this at the beginning, when we say that it's very personal. Now, for me, living in a very multi-society here in Dubai, we really learn the beauty of exchanging flavor profile and be very experimented at the end of the day. So really, I know the guys, they always let me try some spicy food, for instance, or some other elements that are really interesting. And of course, for us, for Mediterranean, as mentioned, something that very classic really goes with a bit of a lemony style. So it can be, when I say carbonation is always welcome, however, even a classic still lemonade will do it. So that's something very important to remember. A bit more on the dry side, not over sweet, because otherwise the sweetness really doesn't go with the simplicity of the fish. So that's really good to know. And then in terms of the carbonation herbal, I will say that, there could be some people that would love to do that. Imagine that, you put your classic sparkling water, a bit of a lemon, and a few leaves of your favorite herbal. So it could be a basil, or could be your za'atar, if you are here in Middle East, or fresh mint. Really will work very well. So that's, again, a very personal. Probably the one is a no is something that is a juice. Now, again, a no definitely for me, for majority of people. But hey, if someone prefer to have an orange juice with their fish, I will not say no personally. If we are running a business, however, we like to recommend, some of a combination, which is really important to remember. So a still juice normally is quite fruity. Imagine a pineapple or passion fruit or an orange or others that really, it could be too much overpowering the delicacies of a fish. So that's something. Okay, Shanaz, thank you very much. That was great. I like it. So I think I'm ready to make the cocktail. And the CocktailZero today is one of our favorite in terms of showcasing the simplicity, because what we want to show you is the simplicity, how the cocktail can be made. And really this one, it has a full inspiration from a classic cocktail that is very famous here in Middle East, which is called the lemon mint. So what I will do, I will show you is, and this is how we pretty much doing. I will have look, the lemon I found today, beautiful. When I found today this lemon, I really, really fell in love, because, reminding me our lemon from Italy, the Sorrento, coming from opposite coast of that. So we really like this beautiful lemon with a thick skin. Oh, there's so much oil there. So what we're gonna do here, I would like to show you, but I think we have, what we can do before I start making the cocktail, I think we should have, Shanaz, can you remind me? Here we go. Yes. I think we can share this to our viewers. So by the way, these recipes, they will be available at the end for you to download. So everything will be there. So what we see here, we see lemon wedges, and this is how I was about to do it. Then we have some mint leaves, then we have some basil, and then we have some really droplets. Now, what is a droplet? Are those bitter? We can go back on the main camera here, and I'll show you. So this is where, this is a beautiful cardamom bitter. Now, this cocktail will be a shaken cocktail. What are we gonna do it? We'll put all the ingredients inside the shaker, and then we will actually strain into our glass. So let me go and make it for you. This is what we do it. So 3 drops of the cardamom bitter. Now, cardamom really, really works so well with the entire flavor profile we're going to look for. Now, I mentioned on the recipe 3 lemon wedges. Now, those 3 lemon wedges are a bit too large, always considering the amount of what we need. So what I will do here, I will definitely squeeze 1 lemon here. And what we want is around 10 to 15 milliliter of lemon. Now, here is a bit bigger. So this is what I will do. Excellent. And then what I will do here, I will probably, here we go. I will squeeze this lemon straight into the glass. Ooh, fantastic. Eh? And then this is our lovely, nice, ready to go. And pretty much the lemon is inside. The lemon is inside with the cardamom, ready to get with basil leaves. So let me go and pick some 3, I will say 4 nice large leaves. Why we're going to shake this cocktail is because we're going to add some dilution at the end of the day. We want the lemon, the ice to break into the skin, so to extract a bit of extra oil of the lemon. And then I will go with some nice, lovely mint. Here we go. Ooh, nice. Oh, very nice mint. This was picked by Terry, by the way, today. She brought me this fantastic mint. Thank you very much, Terry. And voila. And now we will have to have a beautiful, nice shaking technique. The other ingredients will be our favorite lemony style of cocktail, which I lost my bottle open. No, I have it here. There we go. So this is our favorite, Cedrata Tassoni. This is an incredible, really lime. The cheddar is specific from Italy. So that's really does, this gives a very lemony, is a carbonated. So as usual, we don't shake carbonated cocktail with the inside the shaker. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna top it up at the end. So pretty much all the ingredients on inside, and what we'll do, ready to shake. A bit of mixing, but without the ice, we can't shake too much, no? There we go. Ooh, love it. Let me see if I can show you what exactly I mean when I do this. Let me show you on the camera here. Let's see. Fantastic. You can see everything break it inside here. All the lime, sorry, the lemon, the mint, and the basil all inside. And the aroma that comes out is really, really unique. Here what we do, we top it up now with our Cedrata Tassoni. A gently mix. We always say that we love the live session, but we still, it doesn't matter how much technology we have, we can still pass you the aroma, the perfume that really comes out here now. This super, super fresh. My lemon is inside. I always say garnish is very important. So I will have, personally, I like to add a bit of a mint at the end on top, but also few mint leaves. There we go, inside here. Because what's gonna happen, we will have those nice mint leaves floating around, super cool. And here today is in a mix, super simple cocktail, but has a mix of a technique. Excellent. So what you see here is there was a mix of a technique for the people that they've been watching us lately. You can see there were a lot of different techniques we've been using. We use the shaking technique, then we have the stir, then we double strain. So sometimes it's such a simple recipe, we can add elements together. So what we're gonna do here, a lovely, nice stem of mint, and then I will also add some nice basil from my garden. There we go. Let me see. This is the one. Excellent. Now, this is our classic basil lemon mint. So really, really superb the way it looks. Very fresh. It tastes fantastic. Let me try. The reason we double strain is because this is the look we want. There we go. I will put it here so you guys can actually see much better. So you can really see the look is very clean. There is no pieces of mint inside and everything. Now, as mentioned, today is about food pairing. And on our recipe here, we were showcasing we suggested that a cocktail should be served with the food. Lemon mint really goes well. Herbal, carbonated citrus. This is a classic bruschetta. Nice, really. You can see the basil recalling everything and the tomato. So this is another classic, really super classic combination. So simple. Also, the drinks and the food, easy to make it. And then the bruschetta with some nice, there is some nice cheese on top, and then of course you can have some of the cream that can be made from artichoke, also very herbal, that really works super well. So this is pretty much a great lemon mint and with the bruschetta. Now we also have on our recipe, we showcase to you, we say some quiche, another great sample, really how to we can have quiche with salmon, for instance, that really work very well. What we have very clear is that lemony flavors, it really cuts through the fatness. So really works very well, the tomato, also with the peppers, that really interesting. And it's roasted peppers, beautiful. Really that style of Mediterranean. Now, don't forget, when you add spiciness on top, sometimes it can be tricky. Now, before I will talk about spiciness, I think, Shanaz, we have one more poll for our friends there at home before we present in the second cocktail, correct?
The question is, which cocktail zero style would you recommend with seafood cooked with Mediterranean flavors?
But this was our first poll, I think.
Yes, this was our first poll. Just give me a moment. I clicked on the same poll again. I'm really sorry. When I read it, I knew
that's fantastic. That's the beauty to be live, eh?
Absolutely. No editing out your mistakes. Okay, which soft drink would you pair with curry? Sparkling water, cola, or ginger ale?
Yes, I remember we discussed about this with the guys before. I'm really curious to know what the people they have to say now.
They are very divided on this.
Okay, let me show my screen here. Let me see.
Okay, so 27% say sparkling water. Now it's 25% say cola and 50% say ginger ale.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I congratulations for the people that really goes by ginger ale. Ginger ale is a very high recommended when we talk about definitely a curry style. So a bit of a spiciness there. Really works so well because it complements the cool down of the curry. And I'm sure the people they answer the correct answer, the correct question is because they really are the people that love to have the curry. Now, curry can be spices or no spices. I'm definitely a person that really goes soft on spice. I don't really enjoy too much, but many good friends of mine that really go for it. And I must say, depending on the level of spiciness, that you really can enjoy in a different way. So in terms of also chili, because spice not only is chili, but it's also a mix of different other ingredients that we can see. So now for the rest of the people, they will say cola. A classic cola normally, it could have, nowadays on the market, we find a lot of very interesting cola herbal style. However, they tend to always to overpower, but the sweetness is quite high. So unless we find something quite low, okay, can be quite interesting. And the other one was, which one we mentioned? We said the ginger ale, the cola, and what else we said? Sparkling water? I think it was a sparkling water, yes. So sparkling water, I will say, is always a great palate cleanser when you really go as a beginning. But if you go for sparkling water, don't forget, it could be too much bubble there. And if it's not cut with a bit of a citrus there, it could be really doesn't really work. That's why a lot of people prefer also when it's too spicy to go for the yogurt, in terms of really cool down. So that was very interesting to see that people love it. I'm a big fan of ginger ale myself as well. So really go for that. So I will remove
have two
this.
quick questions for you before you go forward, Giovanni.
Okay, I'm just going to pass this to our friends behind the camera, so at least they can have their lunch. Eh?
Okay, so these are private questions that have come to us, and one is, can I serve a cola drink with a pasta dish? A cola-based mocktail with a pasta dish.
A cola base, okay, with the pasta dish. All right. Now, mentioned at the beginning, and thank you for this question. Thank you very much. We like the interaction. What happened at the beginning when I mentioned about pasta depends on what style of pasta we are looking for. Probably many people, when they refer to a pasta dish, they probably refer to something with the classic, I will say, tomato sauce. Now imagine that tomato has a good level of umami and acidity. So it's quite normally served with some olive oil. So it's quite balanced. So I will say that probably cola with the pasta, it could overpower, you know, because of the level of sweetness. So it really will clash with that style. So I will recommend not a cola or something much more with the pasta. You know, just a still water will work, a sparkling water will work. Or depending on which pasta we are talking about, then you can actually go with something a bit more herbal, I will say, in that sense. So thank you very much for the question.
Another quick one, just before you go into your next cocktail.
Beautiful.
This is private and from the heart. It says, during the course, do I get to taste the dish and the drink together?
Ah, okay. I like this. This came from really for someone interesting to join us here. So thank you very much. You know, first for the interest and for the question. I will say that yes, every single student that come with us, they really have a good time. That's for sure. So when we do all our sessions on making and tasting, and that is for food and drinks. So and there's plenty going on here. So 100%. The best way to know to know actually is always tasting. So sometimes even myself, well, I will say a lot of the time, I do a lot of tasting. And sometimes when we do try new recipes or when we try single ingredients, it doesn't really go as it was planned. So sometimes my face goes a bit funny because the flavor profile wasn't there. But this is how we do it. So very important to train your palate, extremely important. But the most important is to train your nose. The first thing we always do is train your nose. So when the students are coming here, when they leave, we like them to be stimulated by the curiosity. So when you go to the supermarket, when you go to your grocery shop, you grab a peach, smell the peach, you know, see how much you can really take it. Because don't forget, we always buy when we look something that looks good, but something that comes close to us, immediately we buy by our smell. And if something smells really up to our nose, we really go for it. So it's very important that we train our nose, because when we do tasting, we need to explore all those kind of things. So very interesting question. Thank you very much. Thank you. Shanas, more question we have?
No, Giovanni, we can go to the next cocktail, the mocktail.
CocktailZero, excellent, good. So what we have, our second recipe is a classic, you know, it's another classic. Well, this is actually, and I can show you now on the screen. This is actually called a Paloma. Now, Paloma in general, we have this cocktail in a classic world, is made with tequila, grapefruit, and what you see here, we call the spicy gin Paloma. So we bring an element of spiciness inside. We bring in a gin, no alcoholic gin, of course, pretty trendy at the moment. And this is another thing that we always add. We're going to add some apple juice that really works as a bit of a softener in terms of the recipe, a bit of a grapefruit, and then all get together. So let me grab all the ingredients for you so then we see together. I will have my nice lemonade here just to do the top up. Then I will get my hot chili. There we go. Then, here we go. This is my grapefruit. here. And now, really, a grapefruit is absolutely so sexy when you cut into. The smell of the pink grapefruit is always very floral. So imagine all this now will work with the no-alcoholic gin, with the botanicals, with the chili, with the actual lemonade, and really, really works so well. I mentioned the apple will work as a softener altogether. So as we do now, this recipe is also for the people that have been watching us. You will see that we're gonna have a bit of a mix of actually the mix of the ingredients here, a bit of a mix of techniques as well. So check this out. I will show it to you. So what we're gonna have here is this. So we have our rocks glass, and first of all, I will squeeze inside 2 wedge of the grapefruit, and this is so nice. 1 second. There we go. So this is what we do. Then what we're gonna have here, we prepare our mixing glass, and here is where we're gonna squeeze the other grapefruit. There we go. Love it. You know, the perfume at this level is insane. I will add the apple juice, and we always using an organic apple juice here, green. So very much Granny Smith style. Now the Paloma is normally made with the tequila. So tequila coming from the agave plant. Since we all do everything with the CocktailZero here, what we're gonna have just a 10 milliliter of a sweetener. So the sweetness of the agave is actually an extract of a plant. So the tequila comes from the agave. So this one is actually the same plant. So it's agave nectar. It's coming from the plants. It's an extract, like a sugar. Very, very healthy style of sweetening our favorite beverage. So because the way it breaks down in the body is much more faster. So a lot of people also with diabetes, they prefer to use the agave, but you gotta use the good organic agave plant. So now that the agave is inside, I will add my chili, and I guarantee this is something. I will put one more because I will taste it today. So that's something I will do it. And then what we do is very much, I will have to have mixing all together, and then we will serve inside our rocks glass. And the garnish here is super simple because we'll go very herbal. As you saw in the picture, we'll add some thyme. Thyme really works so well. The flavor it does, it really hits you, and there is a lot of different thyme. The one we're using is a lemon thyme, so very, very herbal and citrus. I will say, let's go with the ice, and I will add a splash of the lemonade. Now, here you can have your favorite soda as well. I'm using a classic lemonade, but at the same time, if you guys are using, oh, look at this. So when we do the stirring technique, don't forget, we're just going to really mix well the sweetness. I can really smell the spiciness comes on top. Really, really, all the traveling of the spicy chili, very interesting. And why we brought this element of chili inside is because what we really wanted is to create something that recall the classic Paloma, which is a Mexican style of drinking tequila with grapefruit. Sometimes we saw on the recipe, we add a pinch of salt. Now salt, because I'm using lemonade, I will not really put the salt, but if you're using a tonic water, for instance, you put a pinch of salt, will be very interesting because the salt, the iodine react with all the barks and really the quinine, which is the main ingredient of tonic, and it really make it a bit sweeter. So very, very interesting experiment you can try. So this is what we do here. I will not use any double strain because easy enough. I would like to have those really pieces of the grapefruit around. And what I will do, I will garnish with the thyme. I love this because it's definitely one of my favorite herbs to use. It's so elegant and it really works in the moment we are going to add and bring on our nose. Let me try. Ooh, I like the kick. Now, let me show to you what we prepared for this one. And this is the nice tacos. This is what we do. Let me see if I will have this angle. I think it's much better. Now, tacos could be a fish taco, so you can marinate it. It can be a vegetable taco. It can be probably your favorite, maybe meat. It can be your favorite chicken tacos if you prefer. So you can see the combination here, the chili element, the herbal tone, the grapefruit. So that citrus, when you're gonna bite into one of those tacos, you really feel it. That is super interesting. So element of tacos, of course, is a Mexican dish. And this is something that really goes, we want to replicate it, something dedicated to Mexico. Now, let's have a look this wonderful cocktail. So super simple to make. 3 ingredients, pretty much. We saw as a core. No, we saw the grapefruit there, the chili, the grapefruit, and the sweetness. So that really interesting on that. Now, if you really want to have a bit of a kick to that, you can actually use this one, which is the gin, as I mentioned today. So this is something really interesting. So instead, if you don't have your tequila, which is normally difficult to find no alcoholic tequila, we can actually use as a nice gin, and you can smell the citrus superb. So it really gives a nice extra aromas. Now, because we already played with a lot of these ingredients, so that's something that we really kept on the side for today. So very interesting, the usage of those elements. So this is something we like to do as a spicy gin, if in case you want to use it. So this is another great recipe. I will say, Shanaz, I'm sure we have probably a few questions from our viewers.
Yes, we do. A quick one from Sai. He says, Mr. G, I would like to know what type of drinks we could make with coconut water and the tender coconut inside it. And I would also like to know what kind of food to serve it with.
Okay, so question is what kind of drinks we can make with the coconut water and what kind of food will go with that, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so really good. I like coconut water, one of my favorite, especially now during the hot summer of Dubai. What a better way, we have a lot of fresh coconut, not really growing here. We can import them. We can find ready in the can, so beautiful. Now, in terms of mixing, coconut water is very light, very delicate, so you gotta be careful. I will say for me, when you play, you have to play with very simple. So even a couple squeeze of lime will work super well with your coconut water. So not going too much into other flavors. Some berries, berries also works very well with the coconut water. And in terms of food, well, it has to be Caribbean, Creole style. So even if you fried some nice calamari, I will say, with some sweet and sour chili sauce, it really will work with some coconut. So that's I will go for today. But again, it's very personal. Or maybe a pomelo salad also. My friends in Thailand, they love that pomelo salad. So I think I will definitely go with that as well. Yeah.
And then we have Anisha. Anisha would like to know, just like with wine, which kind of mocktails could be served with white meat and with red meat?
Okay. White meat or red meat? 1 second, I lost my plate. I will get to the plate next to you so you guys can see everything. So the question is red meat and white meat. Now, we mentioned this at the very beginning. So what happened there is that the tannin, that what we're looking for when we say a red meat, is that something that really we don't find in no alcoholic cocktail unless we explore some of the berries. So even a black tea, imagine a black tea that's very famous for their tannin, it really can work with the good red meat. If you think about white meats or your chicken, your turkey, stay light, something that depend on what you are heating with. So I will say even something like this, very lemony, will work very well, because if you do your chicken in a salad, for instance, that will work. I think my bruschetta came back, so I will definitely bring to you. Thank you very much for the guys that are assisting in the studio here. That's very nice. So I can show you everything here. There we go. Thank you. So Shanaz, that would be my answer for this one. So in terms of really showcasing, understanding how to really balance in that sense, yeah?
Just a last question, not to do with food pairing, but rather the experience. So Anisha would like to know again, what's the reason behind using a straw in some drinks and not in others?
Okay, well, that's a very nice question. Thank you, Anisha. That's very good and very up to trend, I will say. Now, we saw a huge trend, and we're very happy the fact that, of course, to reducing the amount of plastic we are using, which we can open a completely different subject, but we stick just to the straw today. The fact that many people removing the plastic straw and they're using another straw, paper or stainless steel or glass or bamboo, whatever it is. Now, the experience is that every cocktail will show you the way it has to be served, and it definitely it deserves a straw or not. Now, a cocktail like this with the carbonation, a cocktail like this, nice and short, with light carbonation inside, very fruity, very elegant. Really, those two cocktails, they don't really need any kind of the actually straw serving, unless you are bothered by the garnish here. But this garnish is actually functional garnish. What you can see here is gives you really a lot of aromatic. It's part of the experience here. So the straw is very, is always a personal. I will say it's not highly recommended. Also, you can enjoy the basil and the mint while if you going with the food as well. Now, if you go for let's say a straw cocktail, I will say if you're using a blender, so a frozen cocktail that's much more thicker, definitely I will say that your experience when you're drinking by the glass and by the straw is the way. So we don't say no to straw to all the cocktail, but we'll say to reduce, and we're designing cocktails that are really the usage of the straw is much more less. So I will say frozen cocktail will go with the straw, and the one are light carbonated like this, definitely they don't really need a straw. Again, very personal, but that will be my recommendation to really get the experience. Yeah.
Thank you, Giovanni. I think we've answered all the questions for today.
Fantastic. Okay. So before we wrapping and I give you back the entire screen, I will say thank you everyone that really take their time today to watch us. Today was all about food-friendly categories, so really explaining a bit of the fundamental why the do and don'ts, even if I always mention that the flavor profile is very personal. I'll tell you why, because through the time we always reading, documented, and we know the world is beautiful. We all different in the way we really perceive the flavor. So this creates a lot of a fascinating. Imagine that it's very popular. I was talking to my friend, she's from US, very funny. She said, "Oh, we love milkshakes with the fries." That's something that for me, grow up in the south of Italy with a very simple flavor. I cannot get that milkshake and fries. Why? It's the way we grow up, the way we really have that taste. But if you look in details, that level of sweetness works very well with the level of saltiness. So the basic principle is there. Maybe I will work on something else. So, but if that works for you, hey, happy days. That's really, really up to you. So this is what we saw today. A bit of a journey understanding the different flavor profile. We showcase a couple of recipes here. The beautiful, we call the spicy gin paloma. In this case, we can use the gin instead of the tequila, the no-alcoholic. Then we have the grapefruit, the apples, and all these beautiful flavor together. Shake it with a bit of agave. And this one is a classic lemon mint. And again, two classic combination here. A tacos that can be vegetable, that really goes super well, or with meat, white or red, or you can actually have with the fish. And this one, it was in a classic bruschetta with a nice cream of artichoke and beautiful peppers and the tomato, all mixed together with a slice, with a bit of onion and the basil that recall everything. So this is what we really did today. We had some fun. Personally, I did. It was great. And I'm sure when we finish the session now, we all ready to go and eat everything is here and drinking everything with our friends behind the camera. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. And we'll see you next week because to talk about teas and coffees. So check it out. Thank you. Ciao, Shanaz. Ciao, Karun. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Mr. G. That was very, very informative. And indeed, what you drink with your food can actually bring your food alive. And thank every one of you for being with us. And Mr. G, we have someone from Trinidad who wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning to be with us and watch you on your show. Thank you, Zaida. Thank you very much for taking the time to come on. Over to you, Karun.
Thank you, Shanaz and Giovanni, for this fantastic session. Wow, amazing food pairing today, and can't wait to try it. A quick note, you can download today's recipes from the handout section. Also, an email will soon follow with the replay video of this webinar together with the handouts as well. Lastly, we encourage you to create the dishes demonstrated today, the mocktails, and also share them on your social media platforms by tagging at Liquidalembic and at ICCA Dubai. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, as mentioned by Mr. G, teas and coffees. Wow, another exciting session that we can look out for. Again, goodbye from all of us here. Bye.